Epistle of Paul to the Corinthians. And now we're in chapter 12, and we're studying from verse 12 to verse 31. Let's look at verse 12. In verse 12 it says, "For as the body is one, and has many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ." So also is the body of Christ, so also is the church. Look at verse 18. In verse 18 it says, "But now, as God set the members, every one of them in the body, as it has pleased him." Then in verse 24, it tells us in verse 24, it says, "For our comely parts have no need, but God has tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacked." Verse 28. In verse 28 it says, "And God has set some in the church, first apostles, secondly prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues." Verse 31. In verse 31, "But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way." You'll see in those selected verses that the body of Christ is one. The church is one. As the body is one, with all the many members having various functions and different functions, the Lord makes us to be one so that we can cooperate together, coordinate together, and then we'll move the body forward. And then it says, all the functions of the members of the body, they remain as God himself has set every member in the body. And then he even talks about the ministers. In that verse 28 it said, the Lord himself has set those ministers the way they are, the functions they have, and the ministries they have. And then it says in verse 31, "Covet earnestly the best gifts." What does that mean? That as you see your position and your place in the body where he has set you, then you will covet earnestly the best gifts that will make you function appropriately in the place that the Lord himself has set you. Today we're looking at the message, the unity and usefulness of members of the body. The usefulness of members of the body. When the member and when the minister abides and stays in the calling the Lord has set him in, then he will be useful, and then he's united, he's cooperating with all the other members of the body who are also having their own function and their own roles and their own responsibilities. As we're united together like that, then we have the usefulness of all the members, and they contribute to the health of the body, to the happiness of the body, and to the progress of the body, and to looking at, number one, purposeful relationship of members as set by God. It's the Lord that set all those members, and then we have relationship, but it is a purposeful relationship of all the members as the Lord himself has said for the church. Number two, practical righteousness of members as specified by God. Practical righteousness. There's a kind of righteousness that is theoretical, and there's a kind of righteousness that is superficial. There's a kind of righteousness that is hidden. We cannot see it, but this one that the Lord is calling the members of the church to is practical righteousness of the members as specified by God. Point number three will be prescribed responsibilities of ministers as sealed by God. The Lord has given those responsibilities and he has sealed them so that I cannot change those responsibilities. You cannot change those responsibilities. They are sealed by the Lord himself, and as he has given the specifications as to how we serve and what we do and how we minister.